Broadcasting from Silicon Valley, California, this is Conversations with Jennylyn.
You are watching Conversations with Jennylyn, and tonight I have the privilege of interviewing Norma Flores, and she is a director of student services at one of the school districts here in California. And I thought it would be great during this segment of COVID-19 that she could share with us the many ways they are participating in the students' lives, even though the children are on lockdown at home while they remain in quarantine. Norma, thank you so much for taking the time to share all the ways that you, as a member of the school board, is still participating actively in the lives of the students.
Okay.
I know that you have been busy, even though the children are in quarantine, you are still working. Can you tell us what you guys are doing to continue to keep the school system going, although the kids are in quarantine at home?
Right. Once we got the notification from Santa Clara County that we were going into shelter into place, there was already pre-planning of what we were going to do as far as distance learning, being able to provide curriculum, being able to provide digital devices to our kids and families, also making sure that they got the communication from the district and from teachers on how we were going to move forward for kids to receive quality education from the district. That is still where we're at now, considering that they have extended the distance learning. It doesn't look like we're going to be returning back this school year. And I think at this point, we may not even return back in the summer, but that's all depending on the virus, on the pandemic here in the state of California. So yes, that's where we're at, Jenny. Just trying to do our best.
Well, I'm sure you guys are doing a great job. If you're part of it, I know you're doing a great job.
Right. Oh, thank you.
So for people watching this interview, what are you calling it? Homeschooling? You called it
Distance learning.
distance learning. What is distance learning?
So distance learning, obviously kids are not able to physically be present at school. So the distance learning is online, where they're engaging with the teacher, where they're engaging with schoolwork through an electronic device. At this time, it happens to be Chromebooks. I think for the earlier grades also, they're getting packets of work to take home, and then parents are able to take pictures of the work completed and send it to the teacher. Right now, we're trying to figure out how that work can get back to the teacher so we can grade it. So as you can see, we're just trying to be solution oriented as we're dealing with this whole distance learning. We just want to make sure that we provide the quality education that they were receiving, when they were able to come to school.
And I know that, some parents and some families depended on the meals as well as school as a place to go. So they get a break and they get to go do their jobs. How is the school helping families that still can't afford to feed their children during the school year?
Right. As you can imagine, so many people have got laid off here in Silicon Valley, and they're having to rely on resources, within the city or within the county, to pick up meals. Obviously, all school districts are providing breakfast and lunch for kids. So we have a grab and go drive by to pick up meals. Right now, we have a total of 7 school sites that are open daily from like 11 to 1, and we're serving on the average 3,000 meals a day. So as you can see, parents are coming by the schools to pick up meals.
Wow, so you still have the kitchen staff preparing food every day.
Yes, our child nutritional services happens to be essential workers in our district, and I just want to thank them for all their dedication and their services being on the front line to make sure that kids are getting fed per day, every day.
Before your school, before your district shut down, did you have any positive cases in the school that you knew of that tested positive for the coronavirus?
Right. So there was some reports that were called in of potential exposure, or one person removed, or two people removed where maybe they could have been exposed. All of this is confidential information that we call into public health, and then they're able to give us the guidance on how we move forward with the reports of those exposures.
Okay. So while the children are at home, they have all of the information of the classes that they would have in the classroom online. And how are
Correct.
they graded at the end? Because it sounds like this is going to continue, I was told, until September, being quarantined, the kids, and at least the
Mhm.
school system, I heard. Is that correct? That you know of, that will they be on quarantine until September?
So the public health officer of Santa Clara County, who happens to be Dr. Sarah Cody, provides all current information in regard to the pandemic and the shelter in place. So she is definitely a person that we look to for guidance on what we're going to be doing at the schools. And I just want to sincerely thank her for all her service, because we actually were one of the first counties in the state that went to shelter in place at an early time. And that's why you don't see a lot of these numbers skyrocketing. It seems to be that we're going to be meeting our curve maybe by next week. That's what I heard on the news today.
Wow, congratulations.
Mhm.
So as a director of student services, what does that mean for you now during this time of quarantine?
So we still have to be able to stay in active communication with our parents. As you can imagine, they have lots of questions in regards to the timeline of school, of summer school, of how do they enroll. There's just questions on resources that are available to them that they can leverage. But believe it or not, most of the questions that are coming in have to do with managing the distance learning, with being able to connect to a hotspot or Wi-Fi at their homes, and just guiding them and directing them on how they can make sure they're coming into a routine with their kids to complete their schoolwork. So a lot of it is to seek support with the distance learning piece. But at the same time, we have created a COVID-19 hotline. So they're able to call us 24/7 if they're seeking any type of service. We're able to, mitigate that for them with any of the outside community-based organizations that are offering services while we're in shelter in place. So as you can imagine, even though we don't have kids at school, we're extremely still busy every day in student services with providing services to our parents.
What about families who haven't had Wi-Fi in their homes? What happens in those situations? How are they
Um,
to stay on curriculum?
a lot of the companies, which I think even Xfinity is offering Wi-Fi or hotspots that we're able to provide for them through our district. So that is another support that we are giving our families in regards to the distance learning, is making sure that they're able to connect to a hotspot, and also by donations of certain companies that are offering free Wi-Fi to families. So it's all about connecting them to those services.
I love when something like a pandemic or a crisis, it just
Yeah.
brings the best out of most people.
Mhm.
Most people, you really see there's so much humanitarian acts of kindness. Um,
Yes.
Normally, it's there, but because there isn't a need for it or people don't reach out, we don't know how kind and giving people can be. And I think the most beautiful thing that I've noticed during this crisis is the kindness that people are showing toward each other.
Yes,
And
I
I
agree.
think that's to be applauded. It just melts my heart. Now, Norma,
Yeah.
you as a person, how long have you been working in the education system?
So I've been in the education system for over 25 years. I was the
Wow.
education with migrant ed as a specialist. And then I got hired at a local school district in East San Jose, and I'm going on my 5th year. And like you said, that you see a lot of people stepping up to the plate to show their love. And I can just tell you that everyone that I work with at my school district, we're a family. And what can I say? Everybody that I work with has a big heart, and they really super care about the families and the kids. And there's nothing that they wouldn't do to make sure that kids have access to a quality education, and of course any other services that they may be needing. We totally believe in serving the holistic child, which is of course the academic piece, but also the social emotional part of a kid's life is super important to us. And being able to provide self-care for families and kids, so they're able to stay balanced with all this anxiety, right, of this pandemic. As you can imagine, there's a lot of scary stuff on TV. So we just want to make sure that we're reaching out, and they know that we got their backs.
That's why conversation with Jennylyn, that's why we're doing these segments, to
Right.
remove the fear element and just share what's happening in homes, regular homes around the world, so that people will try not to buy into all of the fear. Just remain vigilant and do what you're being told to keep yourself, your family, and your friends safe. Now, Norma, I am aware that some homes, the children have parents that don't speak very much English.
Right.
And since the parents are sort of expected to supervise the continuing education at home,
Right.
what's happening in homes like those?
We're very much aware that we have newcomers coming in from other countries, and that we live in a very diverse population, right? Here in Northern California, as you can imagine, there's probably over 20 languages that are being spoken in the Bay Area. Where in the East Side, in the district that I'm in, the primary second language is Spanish. So we have a big Spanish-speaking community. We have also a very large Vietnamese community. So any type of communication that comes out from our district website or letters that are going home are always provided in English, Spanish, and Vietnamese. We are very culturally sensitive. We want to make sure that parents understand the communication from the district. So we are sensitive to that piece, that we're reaching out to them in the language that they can understand.
Thank you. Now, I really feel like I should ask you this, because I am aware that there are households where there's a lot of abuse going on. They have so many children within the home, some of them 6 kids, 7 kids. And so it's very difficult on the parents.
Correct.
Oh, and I'm sure that some of these children are being counseled through the school system. How is the education system managing cases like these at this time?
So at this
Imagine being all locked up in a house, it would amplify those issues.
We have agreements with local partners in our community, like the Alum Rock Counseling Center, Behavioral Health of Santa Clara County, where we're able to have staff members check in with families, especially a lot of the kids that were on caseloads with our counselors at our school sites, that were receiving higher tier services in regards to any type of mental health dynamics or maybe challenges that they were having at home. And as you can imagine, now that we're on lockdown, that could potentially escalate, right? So we want to make sure that we're getting the correct information to our families, again, through every communication modality, like through the district website, through our Facebook. The great leader that we have as a superintendent is constantly always filming on Facebook Live and reaching out to our families, letting them know that we have resources available to them. And in regards to the mental health piece, like I said, we have partners. But I would like to say that if anyone is experiencing any type of domestic violence, to call 911 or a domestic hotline. It's very accessible. You can just Google what partners are in the city or the county, and someone would respond to you immediately. So
That's
we
great.
make sure.
You guys have thought of everything.
Well, we're hoping. I mean, we're just trying to be that one-stop shop where if they call the district, that we're able to make those referrals for the needs that they have.
As humans, we're much more adaptable than we give ourselves credit for. Now, the grading system, how is that going to work? Since the kids are not in the school system, how are they going to be tested? And how will you be able to determine if there's honest testing? Is there anything set in place for that?
So right now, we since all of it is distance learning and teachers are engaging with their kids and making sure that they're staying up to the work that has to be completed for their grade levels. And to be quite honest with you, Jenny, I work with the academic services department in our district. I'm not exactly sure about the grading piece, but we would be seeking guidance from the California Department of Education of how we're moving forward with a grading system or a pass or fail system. Now that we're in the distance learning, yeah, I probably would have to ask what's going to be happening with that piece.
Okay, because I would imagine it's still important to grade kids.
Right. Correct.
And so if this distance learning continues through September, how is the school system planning to handle this summer?
So I think right now what we're doing is just taking it one day at a time, depending on how they're going to call it. As Dr. Sarah Cody and Dr. Fauci that we see a lot reporting, the virus is the one that sort of dictates the timetable for how we're going to sort of come out in phases in the way back into a regular life. As far as schools are concerned, that would depend on the state superintendent and our governor and the California Department of Education. And then once they all come to a consensus about how we're going to move forward, we would be receiving that information. But as far we will continue with the distance learning until we're able to come back to school.
Wow, I am so happy that you are such a cohesive team and you have it all sorted out. So our education system is hopefully not going to suffer as much as apparently our economy is.
Right, correct.
So Norma, why did you choose to work in the field of education? What was your motivation for that career choice?
I work with the migrant education department at the County Office of Education. It's sort of historical in my family. My grandparents were migrant workers, so my heart was always there to really support migrants. And so I was able to be part of that team, Region 1 Migrant Education, and being able to help migrant families throughout 6 counties in the Bay Area. So that probably was one of the main reasons of going into education, is to be part of the migrant education. And also, as as I was working in migrant ed, I really loved working with parents.
Yeah.
So the whole parent engagement piece, because I wanted them to be advocates for their kids, and at the same time, because a lot of them are first generation, they sort of had to learn how to navigate the school system.
Right.
In the United States, and so that was another piece that I really enjoyed.
Well, thank you for being an educator. I think everyone who plays a part in another person's life is special. And I would imagine over 25 years, you have touched many, many lives.
Thank you.
I know that we all learn from everything that all of our experiences in our lives. And I'm sure that even though we've only been home like 3 weeks now on quarantine, what's the one thing you, as a person and an educator, has learned from this experience?
What have I learned? I have learned to be patient.
Join the club. Yeah.
I'm just trying to look at the upside, to all of this. which is, trying to be creative within my own home, like with my nephews and my own family. There's just so much you could do because we have to stay home. So, reading and writing, and I love genealogy, studying family history. There's just so many things that I'm catching up on. But Jenny, I'm working remotely, and I'm also working on a rotation schedule at work. So I'll have to tell you that I'm just as busy at home as if I would be at work every day. So there's a lot to prepare. Like I said, parents are calling in, needing services. There's meetings, within my department, within the district office. There's a lot going on. So I'm like really, really super busy with work. But when I do get some time off, exercising, reading, being with my dogs, things like that, catching up with old friends like you. So it's a good thing.
Thank you. Well, the good thing is I know that you are busy because I had a difficult time getting on your schedule.
Right.
So I know how hard you're working. So
Yes.
before we wrap up, because believe it or not, the time's gone, but
Right.
what would you like to leave with the viewers that I didn't ask you that you think it's pertinent to this topic, the education system in COVID 2020? Hopefully it's the one and only.
Well, there's two things. One is that I just want to be able to say thank you to all the first responders, to the great leaders that we have in the state of California, from the state level, our governor, to our mayor, Sam Licardo, to Dr. Sarah Cody, to all the partners that work with our school district and providing services to our families. So I just want to be able to say, sincerely thank you for all your dedication and just trying to do our best while we're in shelter in place. And second is that, parents have such a great opportunity to do so much with their kids. Now that they're spending time with them, and especially if they're not working, they're able to advocate for their kids, being able to influence them in positive ways about how important education is, nutrition, exercise. There's just so much that they could do to engage their kids every day, and they're having this opportunity. So I just say, now that we're shelter in place, take advantage of that.
Great advice.
Yeah.
And what advice do you have for any parent who is stuck in some way, is not able to understand how the system is supposed to work, is having difficulties helping their children, either because of language or don't understand technology? What advice do you have for them?
So you're not alone. First of all, that's what I'd like to say. There is a big support system that is there for you. Contact your local school district. We're available by phone or email. We have a very active Facebook with our district website. Reach out for anything that you may be needing, and I can guarantee you that we'll get back to you as soon as possible to make resources available for you.
And the last question before I wrap. Norma, you've been in the education system for 25 years, and I know you, and you're a beautiful person, very kind, giving, and thoughtful. Beautiful in many, many ways. What is the most outstanding experience you've had working in the education system over the 25 years you've been working in this field? What's the thing that stands out the most for you in your role?
I would have to say working with parents. I coordinate like these annual parent conferences where there is workshops that they attend, or having a motivational speaker that can inspire parents about being this active partner with their kids in the school district. And I would have to say the attendance of parents that attend these conferences, it's like amazing to see from 700 to 1,000 parents attend a conference, and then getting that feedback that we did such a great job, and that they were inspired, and that, they got so much information from attending. I would say that has been the highlight for me.
Have you encountered a lot of parents that you felt really didn't want to parent and were going through the motions. And when you meet a parent like that, what do you do?
I know deep down inside, of course, all parents love their children, and it's just unfortunate that they may have challenges or dynamics in their lives that prevents them from doing their best. That's why we want to be able to service not just kids, but parents and families, so we can support them with trying to find balance in their lives and, getting back to what's most important, and is like loving their kids and being a good provider and being a good parent. So there's hope. There is someone that is willing to help you if you just ask.
Well, you are great. And I thank you so much, Norma, for this great interview. Hopefully we've covered everything. Do you think we have? Did we miss anything? I want to make sure that you are providing most of what people might be needing, because this distance, what do you call it? Distance learning is such a new concept. I think a lot of parents homeschool. There are quite a few parents that homeschool. So this is nothing new to them. But many parents look forward to dropping off their kids to school for at least 5 days of the week to go to work or to get a break. And so now that's not an option. And I just want to make sure that, they can cope and that the children are still being able to focus on school and get the education that they deserve, even though Corona is running the show right now.
Yeah, it's a game changer. We just have to adapt to the changes, make the best of what we have. It's not going to be forever. At one point, we'll be back at school. So let's just work together in this time to just provide the best services and education for our families.
Norma, thank you so very much. I know you're incredibly busy, and I feel very lucky to be able to share this time with you. And I wish you good luck. I'm sure that the people that work with you feel very blessed to be working with you.
Thank you, Jen. Appreciate it.
Good luck and the best with everything happening. Hopefully soon this will all be behind us and we can move forward. And so thanks again. Thank you so much. And thank you for watching Conversations with Jennylyn, when a conversation is all you need to be inspired. Thank you.
Broadcasting from Silicon Valley, California, this is Conversations with Jennylyn.